I was gonna say drop update.
There we go.
Is there anything? Yeah, we should just get Mike in here.
We need to show the twitching thing, kids. I did a whole job of showing those or telling people what those
Oh.
But there's only like 20 left.
Oh, well. Then guess what? If you want to buy it, you better buy it. Because if you don't, it ain't going to be there. Oh, we got people.
Where you at?
There we go.
Oh, and it works.
Oh,
got
here
a
we
whiteboard
go.
Tonight, folks. We're going to get real with
Praying you
diagrams.
boys are
We're
extra
gonna
late
show
today because I'm extra busy at work tonight. And of course, only on my birthday would I get screwed out of the live feed. Wyatt, I know that you know. You can go back and watch it live. But I say, or you can watch it later on. It's recorded. It stays up on the YouTube channel. But I will say, tonight's the etiquette talk. And this is always a lively, great bunch of stories and comments that we'll get. So it's going to be a good time. Got Blair Johnson from BGS Guide Service with us tonight. We've also got Jason Harbison from Steel Obsession Guide Service. He was here last week. We went and did some fishing on Monday. Caught us some fishies. It was pretty fun. But you guys also know the drill. Be sure to tune in. Tell us where you're tuning in from. As you can see, I'm already starting the tired crowd. We've actually got a real producer today. We've got Marlon Lefevre. There he is.
I already failed.
He already failed because he didn't turn on the light. We're fine without the light. Okay, there we go.
I don't remember the lights.
Yeah. Always low hole people. See, that's great. Whoa, turn that one around.
Talk about that.
There you go. You're good there. Someone mic sounds like crap. Well, we'll figure it out. Bill's Mafia in the house. Kelso, Washington. Oh, boys, how many shoreline trash heads are in here? Snaggers, show yourselves. Probably a few, you guys. Just admit it. But no, tell us where you're tuning in from, guys. And Marlon will get a couple prize packs going for you because I totally forgot. And yeah, we're going to get going. That mic, though, already doing better than Clunt. Good evening from Roseburg.
It must be your mic.
Is it?
You're the only one talking.
Yo, yo, yo. Do I sound okay? Washougal, Kalama, Tacoma.
We can just switch the mic out.
Or mine. Or Blair's. Or mine.
Yeah, whose mic is it? Tell us. We can't.
Bob's turning in from the Dalles, Ithaca, New York. Chico in the house. Milwaukee,
25-pound
Wisconsin.
coho last year. Oh, go back up. That was it.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah.
Picks.
25-pounder?
Where was it?
Right there.
Oh, they attacked Twitcher so hard it caught 25-pound coho last year on the Addicted Tail. That's like a pound off the record. Isn't it 26?
Yep. I honestly, I don't know.
I think it is. That'd be a stud fish, dude. They say I sound good. I use dynamite. Okay. If only the flossers in here floss their teeth as often.
Oh boy.
That's pretty good.
Greasy dudes.
Tonight's gonna start off lively.
Yeah.
But we're going to be talking about tonight just, how to approach, this time of year, a lot of people head to the tribs. Not that you guys, all you summer steelheaders, I'm not casting shade at you. I know you out there. But this time of year, tends to bring a lot of people to the tributaries. A lot of guys starting to chase early winter steel, chasing lake coho, salmon. I mean, there's, a lot of stuff going on. So at least in our neck of the woods, we always like to have this talk maybe about once every, 8 months or so, because we seem to, I think, have it in the spring too. And I got a handy dandy, because we are super high tech here at Addicted.Fishing. I've bought this awesome whiteboard so we can actually sketch out little diagrams and little scenarios for you and talk about a little bit, how to approach, crowded areas, non-crowded areas, different techniques, interactions between boat and bank.
Yeah. Interactions.
Interactions and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And kind of, get the ball rolling here. I've got, kind of a synopsis I want to talk about tonight, but a lot of times, we hear your guys' stories and your guys' comments, and that tends to lead the conversation because this is live and not produced. Not casting shade at Marlon, but it's not produced. Like, we never know what's going to happen.
It's definitely live.
It's definitely live. It's down. What? Can I show you the picture of the Gmail, the giant blacktail gilt? Well, yeah.
Email it.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
I'm in the late buck. I'm in the late buck season club. Mainly because I only went twice. Because I suck. And because I was busy. And because we're catching fish.
You went when it was actually. You waited till it was actually time to go.
Yeah. Yes,
It's been
sir.
fishy since that rain started.
Yes, that definitely helped.
Yes.
We got guys from high hole and just drift down rather than low hole and cast up. Okay, that works. I like
Sure.
it. Michigan. I'm waiting for steelhead, waiting for rain. Hit that thumbs up, people. There's only like 20. Robzilla, he knows this routine. Jeez, you guys have all been here a while.
Fishing etiquette. Let's see.
Yeah, let's see. If you go to a hole and see people fishing it, don't ask, is there room for one more? Move along and find another hole along the river.
I don't totally agree with that.
Depends. And
How
I guess
much-
really,
how
I guess
much
really,
room
we
is
should
there?
probably start with saying that you should never
fishing?
use always and never. Like you should always go to another hole. You know, I mean, like I said, that's as much as we're going to talk about it tonight. There really isn't going to be
5 pack.
a lot
Jeez.
of definitives,
I'll take those.
but we'll talk about that.
It's a hard color to find.
What's up, Nelson?
5 pack.
Sacramento, California, Oregon City.
We got prize packs.
Dude,
I don't
think I'm gonna
mind-
get a t-shirt gun for the bashes.
Ooh, that would be.
You do
that'd be
that.
pretty
I'm not
cool.
doing them anymore.
Yeah, dude.
Someone's, because you know what? No, actually, you do need to do that. You want to know why? Because I would just try to
The
point.
annoying people.
I would just point blank Clint
Mike
all night with
is
that
here.
freaking thing. Like, hey, here we go, guys. Boosh, right in the side of his dome. Oh, all right. But first, so you guys tee up your questions. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We've got Mike Kaplan here, and he's going to show us what's up on how to. He's going to show us some of these awesome items. Because he sits there and delivers the drop. You guys, we had our drop on Sunday at 7 o'clock. And I'm
even got
going to
an
bring
extra
Mike
mic.
Kaplan in here just a second. He doesn't have a mic on. But he's going to show us some of the items.
Mike, he says.
He's going to show us some of the items
Or
that
how about
we're
you
still
just
talking
analyze
about.
it and you talk about it?
Yeah, you're going
There
to.
you
That's
go.
what I said. He's going to Vanna White it. So what do we got here, Mike? Is that the boat bag?
Which there's not many of those left,
There's
right?
not many of those left.
816, I think, last one.
Go side cam. There's handsome Mike. Side cam. That's you. Oh, it comes with a sticker.
It does.
Can you side cam this?
Oh, shit.
That's you. I'm talking to you, Marlon. hey, it's still better than. Oh, look at that.
there we
It's still
go.
better than Clint.
We're there.
There's Mike Kaplan. Everybody, wave hi.
Yep.
I didn't know you were talking to
I know that's what I kept saying, you, Marlon. All right, we got a boat bag here, and so in this kit, we've got some short bus mirror dip flashers. Look at that, super dope. We got stiffies, spinners, a Brad's kit, rigging kit,
Dang.
all sorts of good stuff.
I
What's
mean, the bag in
line
itself
keepers?
is a nice
The
bag.
bag is a
too.
nice size. That's a perfect raft bag.
Basically has every single thing you need to go 360 fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Add a rod and reel.
Add a rod and reel and some addicted line, and you are set. We got some
Salmon
super gel
blend.
blend. And twitching
And a
kit.
Switching kit.
Twitching jig kit, guys. Check this out. Got line snips because you can't go wrong with those things ever. Tough line. And these items, I think there's still a few of these ones available in the store. We've got some of our twitching jig with our worm keeper head jig heads here. It looks like we've got 3/4 ounce and 1/2 ounce. Got some twitching jigs and some of our new plastic twitchers, which you guys will be seeing in a ton of content coming up very soon.
Mm-hmm.
But they are here for the guys that want to go for it early. Blue jigs, blue twitching jigs. Tell me that won't catch a fish. How did I do that so perfectly? Did you guys
Dude,
see
on
that?
the chartreuse
Yeah.
head.
Nailed
that-
it.
Oh,
Yeah, I was
put it on.
gonna say.
Hold on.
Old
Oh,
shark.
look at that. Oh,
head.
freaking look at
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Look at that.
That's what I think's so cool about the whole plastic thing is the versatility of being able to do that.
Quickly.
Uh-huh. It's cool.
Oh, those are pretty.
Yeah. Yeah, so we got twitching jig kits still available in the store. I think we've got like 20 of these left. What else we got here, Mike? What's
Some
that?
New apparel.
Oh,
New apparel? What?
Jason knows about those hoodies.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
are those
Yeah,
are
you
sweet
talk about
hoodies.
them.
Yeah, these are sweet, guys, because you can. I mean,
No
it's
more
pretty much a
sarcasm.
wetsuit, literally, all the way up to your sleeve.
it no
You
more-
know,
that's
to
you.
your shoulder. Bam. I mean, that's a whole like a dry suit, I mean, or wetsuit, right?
It's
What do you call
wetsuit,
that?
yeah.
Wetsuit,
It's
yeah.
neoprene.
Neoprene. So, I mean, you can literally full dip, full dunk, and you won't get wet.
It's for the
it's
guys that
very
are
nice.
only catching just tons and tons of big wild steelhead because their
Pretty much.
arms are just always in the water. And it's just tragedy that their arms always have to get wet. So instead of dealing with the collared sleeves, they've made a neoprene for the guys that are really like out there slaying
Just
it.
trying to stay warm, man.
Slaying
Just
it.
trying
I
to
mean,
stay warm.
you guys for sure. I don't need to wear one of those, but you guys for sure need to wear one of those all the time to keep your arms warm.
There you go.
Is that a blankie?
Nice blanket.
Is that a blankie? Is that a boat blanket?
It could be.
So what?
It's an anything blanket.
Yeah.
What kind of material
like
is
a-
that? It's like heavy,
That's a
fleece.
heavy sweat.
Comfy.
Like,
They're nice. I throw it in my truck.
it's like that
My
new hoodie.
daughter or Sharon, they're
Yeah.
always wanting a blanket.
It's like that new hoodie.
Soft
Ooh.
on the back.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'll run it.
I'll run it. You'll snuggle in it. Harbson's gonna
Yeah,
snuggle
we
in the
didn't show
blankie.
any of the apparel.
Yeah.
This is something that people have
Oh,
asked for a long
yeah.
time.
Little kiddo
Yeah.
sweatshirt.
Right? No kidding. That hoodie, yeah.
Kids hoodie.
Kiddo hoodie.
That's
Still got a
cool.
few of
Black
those.
camo, too.
We do have
Yeah.
Dude, I need to bring. Actually, what size is that? I need to bring one to Layden. Bad. Yeah.
And this is something they've been asking for too. Is
Orange.
That burnt orange. That's a cool color.
I'd wear that. Ladies? Or is it a ladies cut?
Ladies.
I think it's
suit.
a
Oh,
ladies
it's a
cut,
ladies
yeah.
cut.
Yeah, it's a ladies' cut hoodie.
It might look good on you.
I'd wear it. I don't have the
That's my
necessarily
wife loves
equipment.
that one 'cause that's like her favorite fall, pumpkin spice.
Oh,
color.
pumpkin spice.
the
Basic
ladies.
freaking lady.
These are sick.
Whoa. Whoa.
Mmm.
Whoa.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, we did like a Carhartt
Carhartt
style jacket.
Jacket.
Dude.
That's pretty sweet.
And yeah, we did copy Carhartt. Same colors and everything.
And we might have used the inspiration from Carhartt. Marlon said copy, but we're going to say inspired by. That's pretty dope. What?
That's freaking nice.
Those are like
Yeah.
on. You're gonna show that? I think there's like a couple. Like
Are you
one
sure?
each. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
But I
they'll
think
show
they're gonna
that.
be, like sold out.
Let me double check.
Oh.
It's like it's like the gauge material.
But
Yeah.
you can just give her basically camo.
Yeah, so either way, guys, there's still a few items remaining. We had a tremendous drop. It was our record-setting one for us. So I'll tell you what, we appreciate all you guys out there supporting the brand, keeping us doing what we're doing. We will have a winter drop at some point in time to be announced. But these guys are going to be taking care of this for a while. But there's still some great items. Don't plan ahead. If there's some items on there, you guys are thinking about Christmas shopping. It is November, so we can talk Christmas, right?
Oh god.
Are you guys those people? I hate that, but we're gonna do that here because we
After
are doing that here.
Thanksgiving.
I'm dead.
It is after Thanksgiving, but it takes time to ship stuff and process stuff.
That's fast.
So you know what? There you go, guys.
Send
There
it.
you go. There you go. How
Thanks,
warm?
man.
How warm are the wading pants? Do we have wading pants still?
Oh yeah, we do.
Oh, we do have wading pants.
Wait a sec.
Dude, how do you not know this? You're the inventory.
Yeah, Mike's the inventory
You're
guy.
the inventory guy here. No, I'm pretty sure they're like running real low. Dude.
We need a Snuggie addicted hoodie for the next merch drop that we could wear as like our underlayers for winter steelheading.
Oh,
None of the black.
no,
None of the black.
like a ninja suit.
And they are
Yeah,
warm.
like a
Like a-
Snuggie.
like
Like
a-
the addicted Snuggie.
Dude.
One medium and 4 2X in the lighter color of the pants.
Yeah, so wait for us to talk about getting restocked on that because the wading pants are
But they are
pretty
warm.
much
They're
gone.
super nice.
Yeah, they're super warm, super nice, but we only have like one medium and two of the 2X size. Coulter said, excited to get my plugs. I think we sold all 300 of them in a matter of minutes. Again, we appreciate that. With a one set limit, so that was pretty cool. Same with flashers, a lot of the tackle. But like I said, a lot of it's good stuff, and we take a lot of pride in testing it and giving it a shot and making sure that it's fishy. And
Some guy messaged me.
Appreciate
and
you
said
guys.
I created 3 accounts so I could buy 3 plugs.
oh, he created 3 accounts of 3 plugs. Hey, we kind of do that for some things. No, whatever works. So I appreciate you guys.
Gotta work the system
Yep.
somehow.
Yep. Appreciate us big guys need some love from you guys in your merch. Julian, I think we had some items that were 5X. I'm not saying you're 5X, but we had them up to 5X.
Yeah.
So we did have some on this round
It's
for that.
hard because not all the apparel is made in that size.
Yeah, a lot of the blank apparel, guys, is not made in that 5X size. So we got what we could get, and we did what we could with it. Boom.
It's there.
Yeah, it's there.
Probably should start trying to reduce your stuff being included.
Y'all should make a veteran shirt for Veterans Day next year. Oh, that's a good call.
That's a good idea.
That's a really good idea.
I like it.
What'd you do with those spin
This
glows?
guy said, should we start the bidding for the canvas paintings at 150?
Yeah, so we learned something new with our canvas painting, guys. Like, basically, if it's not salmon or steelhead, you guys don't care. But no, there's 2 trout paintings that remain, and there's no way we will start the bidding there because those things are hand painted, one of a kind, and they're not.
We paid a lot of money for
We
them.
paid a lot of money for them, but the value's there, and there's no way we'll start at 150. But if you're a big trout guy, head over to 𝗛𝗘𝗟𝗪𝗥𝗗 and check out some of our addicted release paintings. Yeah. Yeah.
Should we get this freaking show on the road?
Yeah, let's select a winner. What's that?
Select a winner?
For the
What do you
spin
give
glow
away
pack?
first?
Let's give away the flasher and the shirt.
Flasher and the
Run-
shirt.
Run Deep
What'd you do
Cannon
with the
shirt
shirt?
and Lemon Drop 8-inch
Is it
short bush
under?
flasher.
Show on the shirt.
Oh.
Who's it from?
Cannon?
Oh, Cannon.
That's pretty weird, dude.
Sweet.
Run deep. How deep
Oh,
are
there they
you?
went.
Spin
Real
glows.
deep.
Hi guys. What in the world?
They
I
go.
figured you tossed them or something.
You put them in your pocket,
No.
Blair. Don't lie.
Blair, do you really need spinning glows that bad, bud? What? There's literally a pack of 25 spinning glows that were here.
They gone.
They gone. This is great. This is great. Where did I didn't throw them?
Did you throw them back in here?
Was that them? That wasn't them.
No.
They were the
Oh,
smallest.
there was
ones.
other packs in there.
Maybe they ended up in Mike's box.
They might have.
Oh, that's what happened. Mike stole them, everybody.
Well, here.
Mike Capital. There's another pack.
Ooh.
Is that
Okay.
Yeah,
This-
picking the winner for the flasher. Here we go.
Picking the winner for the
Bam.
flasher, guys. Van, yeah, you. He said hello. Hello, Van Zontex. I don't know. You want to take a shot at that?
Van Zont.
No.
Van
Van
Zont.
Zont.
Well, either way,
You have won.
Van Man.
He knows.
Yeah.
Flasher,
Email. There you
shirt. Bam.
Marlon, is this the size you like?
go. Email orders at addicted.fishing.
There you go. That's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for.
What?
But I do use
The
those.
emails at
Oh,
orders.
yeah. Emails orders at addicted.fishing. Tell
Yeah.
us that you won the prize pack and be sure to include your
Springs.
address and we will send it to you. And we'll have more prize packs throughout the night.
Yeah, we got spin glows coming up next.
Spin glows. I think we got twitching jigs. Do we have twitching jigs? Bobbers?
This is a popular, hard to get color.
That one.
Yeah.
So that's a score.
Yeah, the reality is those ones should just go home with me. Even though I say that every week and then I don't take them home.
I called.
We're here for the people.
There's going to be some addicted spinning glows coming.
Ooh, what custom color can we even make? Because they've made every single color
We're
in
going to
pattern
bring back a color that you can't find.
rock. Okay, I already know what you're gonna do then. How many people we got watching? Almost 400 of you guys. So
That's pretty weak, though. We need to do some sharing.
yeah, you guys need to share this out. Tune people in here a little bit.
This is one of those conversations
This-
everyone needs to hear.
This
Yeah.
conversation always
Lot of
gets
people should
really
hear this.
good. I'm ready to try those here in Vermont. Spin glows, live from Tacoma, Washington. Twitch and jig. I love birdies more. Good for you, Anthony.
Birdies.
Good for you. Good for you. We're going to do another lake trout video. Not sure. Rule number 1, always low hole your best friends. Should we even start talking about that? Because I know kind of where I wanted to start tonight's talk.
Well,
Like, what do you
let's
think?
just stem right off of that.
Let's just stem right off this. So once again, guys, we're going to do the etiquette talk tonight. I don't need the whiteboard for this because it's happened a couple times in the last week just to me. And it has to do with the boat ramp situations. And everybody knows this.
The old boat ramp.
Right. What do you do when you get to a boat ramp? Like,
Have everything possibly ready that you need to
Pull
get
up
ready.
like you're about ready to start backing down, and then get out of the truck and put your plug in and undo your strap. No.
No, that was wrong. That was really, well, no. Let's start this part off with it. Only if you're a guide.
What do you do when you pull up to a boat ramp?
Because you own rights and access to everything. Like, what do you got? Okay, turn your lights off. There we go. I like that comment. Boat ramp. Let's talk boat ramp. Blue rafts take too long to load.
How many?
So that Ben Adams was the guy behind you a couple of days ago on the Klamath, and he said, no, you loaded fast. The other guy didn't.
I know who you're talking
That's
about.
why
I say the same thing, but hey. You know.
A couple guys, turn off your damn headlights.
I
Yeah.
want to hear what all of them have to say on all these things.
What do you guys?
What do you guys? But what? When at the boat ramp, be ready to throw hands. Okay. Back bounce through all the bank fisherman's run. Absolutely. Questions on peacock bass video. That's pretty random. Maybe we'll be able to do that. Yeah.
Usually at a ramp, there's somewhere to pull over and to get your stuff
So-
ready.
Staging area, right?
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah. So I'm just gonna go out and say, because like, if you have people lined up for a ramp, right, and guys are lining up for a ramp, and if you especially get in front of another person because you have to beat them to said ramp, do not go to the ramp. Like, if you are not physically backing the boat up, if you get in queue to back the boat up through, especially single lane stuff, you do not, just because you were there first does not mean that you go to the ramp and then back your boat halfway down and then undo your straps, load your rods, and prep your gear while the other two boats that are already ready sit there and wait just because you were there first. First to the ramp, does that not necessarily mean first in the water at the ramp? Like, if you are not actively using the ramp, stay the hell off it.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of a pet peeve of mine.
And away from the area it takes to
back
pull
up.
And,
Right.
Yes.
Just because you're there first, like, I understand being there first, but a lot of times if you pull in there first and I have straps to undo or I have stuff, we'll have people, like, you can wave people around, but the problem is if the ramp is not being actively used and you start backing up boat trailers, that's where the clog happens, because in the time that it could launch, in the 15 minutes it could be to launch like 4 or 5 boats. If you take 5 minutes from that and then you still have to launch 4 or 5 boats, you're not going to get them launched in 10 minutes, and it takes longer. It takes another 15 minutes past when you decided to start using the boat ramp.
Yeah.
Like, do not load rods, do not unstrap your boat, don't check your plug. If you're in queue and you're pulling into the spot, be physically moving your boat to back it up. Now, as far as like the speed and stuff, like,
you should also mention though to keep in mind that some people fucking have accidents or make mistakes. There's been a couple times when I pulled back in, forgot my fucking plug, had to pull out, drained 50 fucking gallons of water.
See, some of that stuff. So like what Marlon's saying is that like people will launch at different paces. That's fine, or they might forget something. We've all been there. We've all done it. But if you are sitting there blocking the ramp from physically being used for 5 or 10 minutes while you're loading your crap, then that's a time that somebody else could have launched. That can't happen.
And when there's other boats ready
to go. There's other boats ready to go.
And there's people there are guys that fish every single day that pull up and do the same thing on the ramp, and they've done it for 30 years, and it's just mind-blowing.
Holy crap, people are firing good stuff. Keep going, sorry.
It's just mind-blowing.
Pin them up.
You know, how selfish it is when they drove past the spot to pull over.
Curtis, I repeat some of the stuff he says because I don't know if you guys can hear him or not. So I just want to make sure.
Yeah, normally I thought they couldn't.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of muffled, so I just wanted to make sure, especially if he's adding good context to it. Yeah, so people make mistakes. I mean, dude, you got the single guy trying to launch a boat. I understand he's going to take longer, but if he's sitting on top of the ramp, not actually backing the boat and doing that process, like, he needs to at least start that damn process and not stop other people from starting that process. It's happened to me like twice in like 2 weeks. So I'm just like,
really?
Like, it's just like, really, guys? Like, oh, this is the time to make sure you're like, you got the right jig tied onto your rod. It's pitch black and there's 2 boats behind me. We're trying to launch.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Come on now.
Yeah.
The other one's docks. Like,
guides, get your clients out of the other lanes just standing in the way. Yes, sometimes There needs to be a little extra herding action.
Mhm.
Keeping in mind that some clients probably don't fish a lot, just like some anglers and boaters that are there that day don't fish a lot, and maybe they don't kind of understand that. Maybe a little extra herding. Always understanding that you never know where like the other guy is like coming from.
Right.
Yeah, and we're out there to have
Oh,
fun.
I've got a great boat ramp story too. It's gonna be like the pinnacle tonight.
Mm.
You know what I'm talking about? East.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be a great one.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about that too. Doesn't hurt to offer a helping hand either. Absolutely, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If everybody had that mentality,
Right.
a little bit more of that mentality.
But most guys launching the boat, like they don't want to be, you know,
They don't want help. They,
They
want
don't
to do
want-
it all.
Tried one time, dude.
and some guy lit you
And the
up.
guy, yeah.
Yeah.
he lit
I
me
know
up.
what I'm doing. It's like,
I'm like, dude, you've tried to back up 15 times. Let me help you.
yeah.
And he just freaked out.
So I had the same story. A guy was trying to launch his. This is where the stories just come in. It's just great. I had a guy at my local Big River ramp.
Mhm.
He was trying to put his boat on his trailer, but he was putting his trailer in way too deep.
Oh yeah.
Way too deep. And then he was trying to put it on, then he'd pull up and the boat was on. He'd back it in. I'm just sitting there like, okay. And after about the third time I said, hey dude, I know you're thinking like you need to go deeper. You need to actually go shallower. So when you put your nose on your buck, he's like, I've done this before. I know what I'm doing. Okay.
Sorry.
So after the next time that he tried and failed, that he did actually like didn't go in as deep, and sure as shit, his boat got centered and he pulled up.
Bam.
So yeah, you gotta be a little careful with that. I mean, I don't try to make it, making sure that. Well, that's a good one on Matt too. That is, there's a lot of context too, because
One.
Oh yeah.
that's a good one.
Yep.
Please, people, the boat ramp is not the place to learn how to back up your boat, and that kind of goes a little bit with Matt saying, or make sure your POS works before launching at peak times.
Yeah.
Okay, they're not all POSs.
If you know you're going in the morning or something, it doesn't hurt to go the night before when it's less busy and put it in the water and make sure everything's firing.
Especially the first of the season.
Yeah.
If you know you're going to a crowded ramp, there's
Yeah.
going to be stress.
We call that a pre-trip check.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
the other popular seems to be a popular topic is dock space.
Oh, yeah.
When
Well,
you launch,
but if you're a guide, you get all the dock space you want because you're there as a business trying to load clients, so you
Yes.
automatically get all the dock space. And no, I'm totally joking. If you're one of those guides and you are,
it was
can't say it the word, it's such a bad thing that in the Oregon State Marine Board newsletter, they even had a little blurb in there that said, just because like that they're receiving complaints that just because you're a guide doesn't entitle you to more or less dock space and or time.
right. And it's I see both.
Don't do that.
I see it both ways. I see guides doing it. I just think if you're a guide, then you should know better. But I think everybody as a whole should know, especially if you're at there is one little dock and maybe room for one boat on each side, and there's 50 boats to launch. It's not a space to get your rods ready.
I remember a couple years ago in the dark, we're sitting in the launch line and it's early, like it's 5:30 in the morning. And for whatever reason, the pace of this place launching was just absolutely junk. I was like, what is going on? It literally took 20 minutes to launch 2 boats. And I couldn't figure out. So like on the next time I park my truck, I walk up there to the end. And I'll say it as a guide. There was 2 guides sitting on the outside of the dock, sitting there and going through flashers and going through stuff. And I'm like, so I yell at them like from behind the blackberry bushes. Get that freaking boats off the dock. What are you guys afraid of the dark? Like just ripped into them. Because like all these other guys, single boaters,
those guys
stuff
are like,
trying
oh,
to launch their boat, and these guys were just flipping oblivious. And it's like, dude, move your boat from the dock. And it was like crazy. It was really crazy because like it took like 25 minutes to launch 2 boats, and there was 24 boats in line. It was not cool.
Get
Pull up on the
road.
bank.
Get away
Pull up
from
on the bank
that area.
and there's somewhere to pull over. There is for sure somewhere to pull over, even if you're waiting for people to come. Like,
guide's license is only to allow you to charge and take people fish. You're right. It does not entitle you to anything else. You are a sportsman. You're one of those guys out there fishing with everybody else that day, making stuff work. Agreed. If you tried backing up 10 times and can't do it, ask. It's okay to ask for help. Sure.
I'd say so. 10 times? That's a lot.
Yeah. Some schmucks out there for sure these days, guides and wreck fishermen. Yeah. If you try backing, okay, we already read that one. Yeah. So, yeah, anything else you want to touch on boat ramps? Because that's just something that's happened the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, just have stuff ready. Just have stuff ready and try to be quick about things, you know. When you notice you have people behind you, just don't like lollygag around, you know. Let's get this thing rolling, you know. We'd all like to get into the water and get fishing.
tie off on the dock while you're parking your truck, and then move your boat.
Yep.
Get your rods ready. Wait for your buddy, even if he's going to be there in 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden he's 10 minutes late. Now it's 15 minutes, and people are struggling.
I've had guys sitting there at the dock that I was talking about, literally like sitting there waiting while there's people on the dock, and the guy literally is telling people, like, "Oh, my buddy's gonna be here in just a few minutes," and it was like 15 minutes, and he's just hanging there.
It's never a few minutes.
It's not when other people are trying to load. So yeah, a little common courtesy goes a long way. Yep. And I see if you are a beginner, don't go out during, like we talked about.
Yeah, don't go
during the crowded times. Take a little time, take a little practice. Kind of like what we saying about anchoring in the big river. Like the best time to learn to anchor is not when there's 25 boats and ripping current and hog lines and all sorts of shit.
You know, another thing for new boaters or, you know, newer people trying to get into things like this is, you know, if you want to go check it out and just want to see what the program is, you know, it doesn't hurt to, you know, find a different parking spot for a little while. Go see what's going on, see the flow of everything, see what everybody's kind of doing before they get up to the boat ramp, before they start to back their trailer in, you know. Get a program dialed.
Yeah.
It definitely helps. Have a little checklist. Okay, I got this, and this. We're good. Back her down.
And a little, I mean, just a little common courtesy and a little common sense. If the dock's full and there's two boats coming down to launch, like, if one of them is by themselves, they need some dock space, so somebody's going to have to move. Like, if everybody just is kind of aware of their surroundings, things will go smoother and there'll be a lot less confrontation in the morning.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is a good one. Drift boat.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so like I think we're gonna talk about drift boat bank interaction stuff, but I think we touched everything on kind of the boat launch stuff.
Boat launch, yeah, covered.
Feel like pretty good. I've got a really good story, but I'm gonna tie it into something here in a little bit later that involved a boat ramp, but it involved basically someone thinking that they know what they're doing, but they really don't, but they don't know it. So we'll get to that in a little bit. Okay, so yeah, so let's talk about, so we're going to be bank fishing, right? Let's talk about some tributary stuff. Let's talk about like bank and bank, because we did see a comment earlier that where the guy was saying like, okay, if you go to a hole and someone's fishing it, don't fish it and leave.
He said something like, is there room here?
Oh, don't ask for, is there
The
room
guy
for
asked-
one more?
The guy asked, is there room for one more? And he said, don't ask, just keep it moving.
I think asking is probably the most important part of that.
Striking
Common courtesy, once
communication, right? Like just going up and being friendly and talking to people is, I think, one of the most important things, because where I feel things go wrong is when you both stand there frustrated for 10 minutes, you're building up things in your head, and then all of a sudden it just turns into a clash. If you just walked up and said, hey, good morning, what's going on, and kind of sparked up conversation, it would go a long ways.
Communication across the board on all these things
saves a lot of fights.
Is super huge, super huge. Oh my gosh, you brought up such a good point, and I just totally brain farted. And this hurts. Okay. So the guy's saying not to ask. Like, what logic would this be? Let's just say I'm the first guy to a hatchery hole. I'm just gonna call a hatchery hole. I'm not picking on anybody, anything. If you fish it, great, knock yourself out. But if you're the first guy to a hatchery hole that usually fishes 20 guys, like, where's the logic in that? Like, you're fishing that hole, a guy comes in behind you 5 minutes after daylight, and he's there. And then next guy comes in, do you expect that guy not to fish that hole?
No.
When there's usually 20 boats there, just because
he's going to fish it.
He's going to fish it. Now, if you were up on some secluded 10 miles up, 50 miles up, I don't know, some little river where you hiked 3 miles into a hole, and there's a hole there, and a hole there, and a hole there, and a hole there, and you're fishing this one, and the guy walks up, what do you do there? Probably not fish it. If you have other
If there's other options.
I'm not saying fish it. I'm not saying just walk down and think that you're going to start fishing it. Just, know where you're at, know your surroundings, and then also just spark conversation with the person that's there.
Yeah. I just think those are two very different situations.
Different. Yeah.
Like, you don't get, just because you're first to like a hole that's, we're going to say this a lot too, like, when in Rome, do as the Romans. Like, if that's like a hatchery hole or a very busy spot, and you think you're down there first and you're expecting other people to come in and not ask you, just move on, it's like, that's probably not going to happen either. They're probably going to fish that hole.
Without saying anything.
Without saying anything, because that's what they do. I fished downriver 50 yards. Yeah, and there's lots of situations, John, where like that would probably do that. Jared says, I've made many cool friends sharing bank holes. Exactly. Absolutely, man. Especially when things are going good.
Yeah.
It's a party. It's fun. It's fun.
Like lifelong friends.
Yeah, so those are two different situations. So yeah, there is a time and place where you probably should just, you walk down, you see a guy fishing the hole, and it's probably not even worth, going after.
Just find a different
Just going else. But let's just say that, for the sake of argument, you go down and you hike in a mile, and there's one hole that people fish, and there's a guy in it. And now it's just you and him. Then what? Strike a conversation.
Yeah, then it might be appropriate to ask, hey man, mind if I, sneak in a few casts right here too?
So what if the guy tells you to pound sand? Does he own the whole river for 500 yards below it?
Definitely not.
Definitely not.
But
what does he own?
The shit in his stuff in his hand.
What does he own? Like, what do you do there? So you walk down. He's at the top of a run. The run is 200 yards.
Honestly,
it's 200 yards. It's a 200-yard run.
It depends on how bad you want to fish.
Where does he stop? Technically, his
I'd give him
ground and ownership.
I would give him a little. If I was,
I'm just playing devil's advocate. I don't know what the answer, the wrong answer. I'm not thinking like I know the right answer. I'm just asking. Like, what do you do?
If I was committed,
you walk into the pink face hole. This is where I'm going with this story.
I would never go below him.
Pink face hole?
We always fished above him.
No, we started fishing below him. We were like 100 yards below him.
In the next hole.
Still the same run. Like, it still was pretty like, yeah, we know there's a little bedrock hole there, yeah, but I'm just saying like,
if he's all the way at the top of it.
So like, where do people what do people own?
But
I'm just
asking. Mad myself at like, take high banks for example.
Sure.
If I'm at the top of that run and someone comes in and starts fishing below me, I get pissed.
It's a 150-yard run.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. I was like, hitting that.
I think
that's a different. I feel like that's different.
We would never do that to someone. If someone's in that hole, we go to the next one.
That
crowded river, yes. Saturday morning.
I think it totally.
Sometimes there'd be 10 guys.
My point is, there would be 10 sometimes, and so my point is that like that variable changes, and that situational like awareness that you have to have.
Right.
But there's two rules. Like, first off, it's always first come first serve.
Are there 3 people?
But you also don't own the river.
Yeah.
Are there 3 people on the river you're on, or are there 100 people on the river?
Maybe there's 100. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Situational.
Then you're gonna have to get along.
Okay, so let's say you go down, You walk down, there's a guy fishing the top of the run, and he's 50 yards. He's only running his bobber 30 yards of that.
That's what I was saying. I would go to
Do
wherever.
you stay out? Oh, okay, go ahead.
I would go to wherever I wasn't having to share casts with him, right? Like, I would just bounce below him, even though he might be upset a little bit or whatever. You know, you can't make everybody happy. If I felt it was fair, I'd go below him 40 yards, 50 yards, and then just start working a different stretch of water that he's not covering. But that's hard to say if you're not telling me a specific hole that I'm going to in my head.
Right. It changes with almost every situation.
Yeah.
And every river.
Like, you know, you're
little
not
Wig says,
going to
like-
go down
like-
and ask a guy that looks a little shady, hey, man, can I fish next to you? You're going to be like, oh, nope, I'll just go find another hole.
Yeah.
I mean,
Someone
that's
made
at
a
least
comment.
me.
Someone made a comment last time, like, think of it as like bathroom urinals. Like, right? There's 8 urinals on the wall. There's a guy using the far end. You don't go up to the next one, right?
There's guys
You know,
that
think
do
about it. And
some
then, right,
people
well,
do.
okay, then he's wrong. But then
That is wrong.
what's the guy do? Then he goes to the lowest one. He goes furthest away. And the next guy comes in. Where's he going?
Splits
He
the
kind of
difference,
splits
baby.
the middle. You know what I mean? You have to kind of have a little bit of that, like, kind of mentality of it. But at the
Yep.
same time, the guy up in the first urinal, he doesn't own the 8th urinal. Or he doesn't own the 8th one down the wall.
He also
You know what I
doesn't. I'm not going to say it.
One of the
Unless he wants you to join him in his urinal.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
No, he always goes into the stall.
He goes, that's like the next creek down. As long as your casts aren't in the water that they are working, you should be in the clear.
Huh?
Robert Colby just said, as long as your casts are in the water. Okay?
I think every river that we, just because we're not, it's hard if we're not talking about specific spots, but I think
Yeah.
every river that we fish, it has its community holes, and then it has its runs that you don't even want to be at if there's another person at it, right? So I think that when you're walking down to an area, you know if you've fished it with a few people before, or if it's just something I'll just move on. That's kind of something that we all know. So we have
But
to.
for the guys that
For
don't.
guys that don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's just kind of like a hard, it's kind of
And
a
that's
hard.
where the communication. Hey, I'm brand new here.
Yeah. What if I don't want to admit it?
Is it cool? Well, you got to man up. Is it cool if I get a couple casts in next to you or no? And then maybe the guy says no, but if you just walk down to that flat rock right there, there's the next hole, have at it.
Yeah. Or like sword fight, unless you're a complete dough ball, you can fish next to me anytime.
That's how I feel.
Yeah. I always say you can't, I mean, wherever you fish, whether you're in a spot where you have to fish shoulder to shoulder or you're fishing runs, you should never fish to where you're impeding like someone else's fishing in that run, right? Like if you're pattern to pattern, like you have to like, or if you're shoulder to shoulder and you come in there late and it's a busy spot, then, taking a cast before the other guy did, lining up to where you're not like crossing his lines, doing like that stuff does not fly anywhere.
No.
Jake said asking is better than just doing. At least it shows he or she knows some etiquette. They're putting the ball in your court. That's a good point. And that asking piece of it is huge.
That's the most important. That's where I think a lot of problems lies is when somebody just comes in and you're there and they just start doing something. If they struck up a conversation with you, maybe, oh yeah, and, you guys know each other somehow or something. Used to fish, whatever. Like all of a sudden it's like, hey man, good to see you. And now you guys are in a totally different frame of mind.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Instead of just owning the river or thinking you own the river. When I show up, I expect everyone else to leave. Yeah, me too.
I think
Your world, we're just living in it.
Well, see, guides just come down, they wave their little guide license, and
Yeah.
everyone's supposed to get out of their way.
They
'cause
see
they're
the
taking
stickers and they're
clients.
like, okay.
Yeah. And I'm
No,
always
not
saying
true.
that in jest because I think that that's not the case at all. And I think anybody who does that's a freaking dough ball. First come, first serve. It never hurts to strike up conversation, offer up something. Yep. How about combat fishing? Who casts first?
The guy all the way at the bottom.
We have a diagram for that, don't we?
Oh, we do have
We
a
do.
whiteboard.
I have a whiteboard today.
Brand new. Brand spanking new.
Brand spanking new.
we gotta get into the low hole discussion.
That'll be with.
What do you mean the low hole
I
discussion?
mean, we kind of.
That'll be with the boat.
Just
I'm
started
talking
it.
Elaborate discussion, like how low are you allowed to go below someone? Like, what is the rule, the general rule?
Depends, right?
It's
It all
different in the boat,
depends.
It's different on the bank.
We gotta get the boats into this discussion.
Oh, we will. We always do.
And then I think we do.
Because then every comment's going to be the damn guy that ran plugs and pulled plugs right in front of a bunch of guys drifting. Which that's always a good one.
No,
I've already
and then
seen it like twice.
At the end, I think we do the low hole thing when we bring it all kind of full circle.
Yeah. This is like my terrible
Dude, nailed it.
drawing.
Side cam.
But it's like, the problem is like then you got to show like when they all are done.
You want to go to the side?
No,
You should have started with
no side cam.
Cam's not ready.
No, this is a bad idea. This is a terrible idea. I don't know whose idea was it.
I'm
What's
trying
wrong?
to see it, guys, but I can't see it.
It's going through the glasses. Yeah, side cam.
That's fine. What do you mean?
So
What are the green dots?
They're people.
People.
Those are
Those are
dudes.
people.
Or
Do you want me to make stick figures?
no,
Marlon's confused.
they
too.
got it.
I thought it was like bean sprouts or something coming out of the ground.
That's the first guy.
So, okay, so here's the current, guys. You guys can see the current is going this direction, flowing. Low man, crowded hatchery hole. Everyone's drifting. Let's just be honest. Everyone's just drifting bobber and bead because that's all we do now anyways. All that good stuff, right?
Yep.
So this is the downstream current guy down here, right? He's the one, current's flowing this direction. So he's going to sit here and he's going to make his cast out first, and then it's going to drift down, right? Well, when it drifts down and gives enough clearance for the next guy to cast out, he'll then cast out and then it'll drift down. And what happens then is then the lines end up down here together, right? And then they'll swing into the bank. They'll never cross, right? You'll never have a problem. And then when they're bringing them in, they're going to reel them back this way. And so the key is the timing on this this downriver guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
He casts out, drifts. He casts out, drifts. He casts out, drifts. Everything stacks in. He reels up the bank. Now, when this guy's line is laying up to the bank and he's bringing it in, right?
The bottom guy casts.
And this bottom guy in, this guy can now cast again. Even if it is a little bit over that line, he'll be okay. This guy's done with his drift. He goes again. He goes again. He goes again. He goes again.
And when you're walking into these places, just give yourself 10 minutes and kind of watch the flow of what's going on. And
Okay, so go now. Put a dot in between the last guy and the third guy. So another guy decides to walk up right here.
Yeah.
And he decides he's gonna start twitching some jigs.
I was gonna say, I'm like, so here's the problem, and here lies the problem, like with this setup, right? Because if everyone's fishing the same way, it's pretty much going to work out well.
It's in sync.
The guys have been
All
down
right.
here. They've got this program, seems to work. But if this guy decides, I'm just gonna pluck.
Seen
I
that.
say plug because I feel like twitching's more likely.
So this guy's gonna pluck.
Dude, I've been seeing so many threads lately where guys are complaining about dudes coming up and twitching.
Right. We'll talk about, okay. But what I'm saying
the
is that
winter?
this technique here,
Well, not the winner.
this
I'm talking about
technique
right
here,
Right.
this technique here screws up this drift just completely. You can't do it, right? So there is a line, there is a line that where like when in Rome, you gotta do as the Romans, right? So you show up here, 5 guys on the bank working some sweet little run, fish are getting caught, things are going good, everyone's in rhythm. You don't want to be this guy.
No.
Okay,
Now-
I'll play devil's advocate.
Now let's talk about twitching.
No, I'll play devil's advocate to that real quick. So
Okay.
you got 4 guys bobber fishing a hole.
4.
Can you throw a twitching jig in there when they are not? When they do, if you're not impeding their rhythm, can you make a cast if it's 3 minutes, then it's 3 minutes?
I've done it.
Where
So-
all of them are reeling up and you just go
All of them
twitch,
are
twitch,
fishing
twitch,
dollar
twitch.
banks, trying to catch springers, and I come in there and I just wait for my opportunity. And I just
Okay,
make my
that
cast.
is
That's
okay.
what
In
I'm
your
saying.
situation is different. I think that is totally acceptable, and the reason why is because, let's be honest, you're over here on the other side of the bank watching these guys bobber,
No. So this is what it would be. I would be.
and you're over here like twitching jig, twitching jig.
No,
I'm
on the
from from the same bank.
same side of the river. Okay, you wait.
Yeah, you just gotta wait for the right moment.
Maybe
Do
you
your
only-
casting.
That's what I'm
Hey,
saying. Nobody's
Okay,
in
are
there.
you? So I guess the first rule is: are you
You're not
impeding?
impeding on
If
them.
you're not
No,
impeding
you're
on
not.
them, then
You're waiting your turn.
Yeah.
You're letting them do. Maybe it's you know what I mean. You're just getting a cast in there when you can instead of getting 10 casts every 10 minutes. You're
See, that's a
getting
good question right here too.
you're getting
what's
3.
that? What if you're the first to the hole and you're twitching, but the normal method is drifting? So again, like when in Rome, do as Rome. Are you gonna have like 25 guys going there? Because to be honest with you, like Little Wig, look at like what's going. That's his name.
I know.
To be honest with you, like think about places that eventually switched over to a different technique. I'll say it because I'm going to say it. Like look at Blue Creek. Like everybody drift fished
Right.
there, but eventually
B-dog.
now everyone's bobber dogging it. So I don't necessarily think it's a bad idea, but I think like if you're going to be that first guy in that situation, you need to be really cognizant
Are we
of
done
fishing
with
there. I
Side cam.
think so.
Oh, you want me to get out of there?
Yeah, we can get out of there just to talk. But I think you got to be really cognizant that you are going to be like, you might have 10, 5, 10, 12 dudes that might not be as thrilled as you about it, I guess.
Yeah, if you know 10
Oh,
guys,
yelled at me almost every time.
And then you caught fish.
Exactly. I
If-
just laughed my way to the bank.
if you know that 10 drift fishermen are showing up behind you,
I mean, nobody owns the hole, right?
then you just have to pick your spots. And if you want to deal with that, if you're the first one there, you're not in the wrong.
High explosives. When everybody knows what they're doing, it pays attention. It's really fun. The problem is that most people aren't smart enough to not mess it up. See, like I think that's where you have to draw the line. Like if your technique is like stopping anybody else's like from fishing, especially if they're first.
Yeah.
Now, if you're there first and then some guy moves in on you, because I mean that's the other thing. Like, what if it's the opposite? What if there's 3 guys twitching there, and then a guy comes in and wants to bobber fish it, and he's starting to slow everything
Oh,
up?
that screws everything up big time.
So no go,
No go.
no go.
No.
Shouldn't happen because
No,
he's
because
messing
he-
with
he-
what those guys are doing
He
up.
can't fish his bobber run without slowing up the speed of the twitching jigs, right? Like his stuff takes longer to go all the way through. If he can do it without impeding, then do it. But I think that's the name of the game is just go with the flow and be respectful of whatever's going on there.
Time to move on. If you're the
Wait, what's that say?
You're 10
Irritating when
guys
dudes
bobber.
like to run their drift next 3 holes down, extended drift, gotta wait 30
Long
minutes for them to
line.
pull his crap
Yeah,
out.
he's talking about long lighting.
Yeah.
Well, so
Time and
fortunately,
place.
I'm immune to that because I've fished with Marlin for like 12 years now. How many people do I have watching? But I want to see how much when he's 3 holes down, extended drift. Was he doing it there before you got there? I don't know. What do you think on that? Long hole in or
I
long
think
line,
if-
long line and long
There's
line.
time and a
Like
place.
the scenario that you just explained, you can't do it.
If somebody
you got to keep the rhythm of everyone.
Absolutely.
If you're running your bobber,
What if you're there first? What if
Doesn't matter. Doesn't
What
matter.
if I'm in this nice juicy bobber run?
Doesn't
I'm just
matter.
playing devil's
So you know what I
advocate.
like to do?
Let
If
me
you-
finish. I'm
answering.
asking the
if
people.
You're, a long
You're
liner-
answering, but I'm going to give you the
Hey,
devil's
If
advocate.
you're a long liner, what I always try to do is just be the lowest in the hole.
Yes. Cast up and let it go down.
But what if I want to let my stuff run through all the hole?
I think you know the answer to that. Cameron.
I'm just asking. So if I'm at the top of a hole that runs 62.5 yards long, and I can make a good, clean, quality drift if I stand on the top rock, throw out my little 3/4 ounce bobber because I plan on doing it next week.
Is everybody doing it?
No, you're the first guy there and you're the only guy there, and you walk the mile to get to that spot. And you're fishing from the top of that hole all the way down, and you're catching fish or getting bites, whatever. You got it going on all the way through the hole.
Yeah.
Guy comes down, wants to twitch. Then what? Deep thoughts.
Yeah.
You should smell the burned rubber in here, boys. I'm just asking. Like, does
hey,
he
guy?
own the 62.5 yards that hole?
Depends on the hole, dude.
Oh, gosh.
You know, if you're in there, you're making that long drift. It's like I'm kind of fishing this hole. You know, it's not that I own this hole, but I'm making my drift all the way down there. I'm fishing it, and I can fish it efficiently, like you're saying. If you were, you know, just doing it just to do it, and you weren't getting any bites or anything, it's like that's another thing. But if you're effectively fishing and a guy comes down, like you're saying, and starts to twitch, because I feel like that becomes more of a, if it's gonna bother you, it's gonna bother you.
Yeah.
But I mean, like,
well, how much? I mean, so what if the run is 100 yards long and I can bobber dog it from the bank 100 yards? Do I own the whole hole?
If I was getting bit down there, then I would walk.
What if I'm getting bit at the top too?
And if somebody walked,
I had a double at the top and the bottom at the same time.
if somebody walked down, then I would shorten my cast up if I was going to stay where I was standing. That's what I would do. I wouldn't fish 62
at the
yards
end of the day,
with my
no
bobber.
one owns the river.
Yeah, it's all about fishing etiquette. But what is the etiquette there?
Yeah.
We had a story. We had a favorite story that this guy, we'd walked up on a hole and he was fishing the hole above in the corner, and that's 80, 90 yards up, Marlon. We go down below, and in the tail out of like another like pretty separate. I mean, the river kind of flowed like all one direction there, but there was definitely like some bigger bedrock scoops fish in that hole. Boom, blow up some fish. He comes out just livid. I was gonna work my way down through that hole, and it's like, all right, dude, calm the heck down.
Mm-hmm.
And what did he do? Then he like ended up only going like halfway up, and so you went above all the way to the top. So he starts fishing down, blows the fish up there, sets the guy off again. You're upriver of him now, in the spot he was just fishing, and this guy was just a freaking jerk.
Yeah, you're going to run into those.
He just wanted us off.
He just didn't want you anywhere in that area, but it's very obvious. Like,
There's just no.
so obviously not acceptable.
Other than
You don't own the 100 yards. What if you, and this happens a ton to me in the raft, and I'll just say it because I don't care. Like, what if you are running your bobbers down on the run, you have guys fishing the sides, or you're pulling plugs, or you're bobber dogging, and a banky sees you and runs down the bank to the next hole as fast as they can to get their lines in. Like, how do you feel about that? What do you do there? Do you fish through them, or do you reel your lines up? What do you do, Jason?
Oh, depends where.
Because it happened to me like 3 times today.
Wow. This time of year, let them go.
Yeah.
Let them go. There should be, this time of year, there should be enough fresh fish rolling into the systems to where.
Yeah, but what about not this time of year, though?
What about not this time of year?
Yeah, what about like tough times?
Oh boy, like winter steelhead, like that. Man, I don't know. What do you do there, Cam? What do you do? You're asking us.
He reels in.
What do you do?
He reels in.
I reel in a little bit, but depending on like the situation, like I'll fish right below them or right above them or right with them. Like I don't tend to care. I got in a little like, I wouldn't say kerfuffle. Kerfuffle.
What even is that?
A kerfuffle.
Oh, you show how old you are sometimes.
I'm 41. Is that old?
It's really old when you use words like kerfuffle.
Kerfuffle. Nobody knows what that is? Not a kerfuffle, but like as a guide, just go by. See, I never think that there's rules for guides and rules for rec. It's the same. Like to me, it's the same.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I don't give a shit if you're a guide.
No, it's just It's just etiquette, common courtesy.
Let's hear the story.
I went, water was high, and there was a creek flowing in on one side, and I pulled down to the river, and there was guys fishing the other side, and I pulled my boat into the creek and started fishing like at my feet because the water was really high.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the guys across the way were not getting cast. I was impeding them in no way, and they just lost their mind on it.
Couldn't get into the right zone.
Well, yeah, the water was like raging. And so like I pulled in there, and I mean, could you have cast it across? Yeah, if you really ripped it.
Mm-hmm.
So after they, what are you gonna do over there? I'm like, just making sure you didn't miss any fish over here. And so then I made sure to like row by them and tell them that I was just making sure they didn't miss any fish in there, and that was the end of that. But it was like, okay, man, like you're not even fishing this. If you're not even physically fishing this, or at least fishing it effectively, you definitely don't own it.
Yeah.
They might think they're fishing it.
They might think, well, they probably did think they were fishing it.
Yeah, they chuck it up in there.
Yeah, but not at the level.
It's a while ago.
Years ago.
Years.
Years
But they
ago.
can make that cast though, right?
Yeah, almost about the same. Like a
I
guy
think
could
I
make
know
a
what you're
cast.
talking
A guy could make a cast from, like the Cedar Creek Snag Rock to the hatchery side.
It's a little closer.
No, this was in my sled, guys. This wasn't in a raft.
Oh, dude, I'm thinking of something totally different.
Yeah,
I
this
think
is my
I'm
sled.
thinking about you know what I'm thinking about.
I'm thinking about
I-
the same spot you're thinking
Yeah.
about.
Maybe. I don't know.
Boats have the entire river. There is zero need to crowd bankies. Disagree.
Yeah.
Disagree. Because by that logic, bankies. I mean,
If there's-
bankies can go anywhere too, and there's no.
If we're going by that logic, there is sometimes where we're just on a boat ride then. Just not even fishing because there's bank guys literally
So
all
Mike
the way
says,
down the river.
Cam, you got to float through. They had the hole before you. You're recognized now by everyone. So if you do bad, everyone's going to tell on you. You always got to be the bigger person. Well, I do, and I try to, but
He does.
if there's a spot that is open, is open? Like where, like what? I mean, just because it could be perceived that they think that they're able to fish it, but they can't.
And I think that's the problem. I think what people perceive is skewed a lot of the times.
Yeah.
That's why we end up with
Yeah, because I totally thought I was in the right. I totally thought it was fine. Because even when I wasn't there, there'd always be bank anglers there. Always bank anglers on that other bank.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I came through, I was like, oh, perfect. There's no bankies on this side, which they usually stand 5 deep. So
Yeah,
I was like,
at least.
oh, this is perfect. I'm just going to pull in right here
Okay.
and just be a banky with these guys across the river. They didn't like that because I was in a raft. But like, how is that any different? That was my point. I was just waiting for you guys. I was just waiting for the conversation.
What conversation?
No, just to say okay, just because I'm in a boat, how's it any different?
It's not.
It's not. Thank you. It's not.
I've into the floating device.
Yeah. I used a boat to get there.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how you got there.
Doesn't matter how you got there. Yeah. Yeah.
I've definitely.
Anyways,
Yeah.
just perception, I guess. Because like I said, 5 minutes before I probably got there was probably 4 guys standing on that bank
Where your boat is.
where my boat is now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm fishing it like I was fishing it from the bank.
And what's the difference?
What's the difference? Exactly.
I think I ran into that last year.
Do tell.
One specific time.
Do tell.
Oh, we're at the top of a hole. We
Mhm.
pulled into the top, and there was guys. I wouldn't say a ton of guys, but there was 3 or 4 in there.
Mhm.
And it's a well-known hatchery hole. And we anchor up at the top and start casting. And we kind of had an advantage because you're in the boat, you're standing in the boat, you kind of have a little casting platform. You're up a little bit, so we were getting better casts than the guys on the bank.
In the
So-
trees.
Not necessarily, but we were getting them because we were able to get our casts in and keep our lineup,
Right.
and keep it in the strike zone.
Right.
So we end up hooking a handful of fish, and guys down low were getting them too, but we were getting them.
Getting them.
Like,
yeah.
getting them. Anyways, guy pipes up and it's like, why you guys feel like it's all right to park at the top of the hole? You don't see all of us down here fishing the same hole? I'm like, what does it change? You have there's 3 guys.
So you didn't impede on anything they were doing?
No, nothing. We're exactly like we just did on the whiteboard. I mean, no, it's not like we were long lining or anything or crossing anybody or waiting for people. I mean, we were bank anglers, but we were just in the boat.
Right.
And it was, I think we had hooked like 3 or 4, and they finally hooked one. And we were or one of the guys that was in the boat with us.
Stop high-holing us, Jason Harpson.
No, the guy in the boat goes, it's funny, we're all catching fish now. And the guy comes up and he's like, hey, man, like, I apologize for that, There is no reason for a boat like yourself to not be able to pull in here.
Right.
And we're like, yeah, dude, it's not like we're impeding, like you were saying.
Right. No. I mean, that's where to me, that's always where you draw the line. Like, if you're affecting now what somebody else is doing with your boat,
that's when you draw.
So I got a good one. Like, I know a bunch of people have asked this, so it's coming.
Yeah. So I mean, that was pretty much the entirety of it.
Yeah.
We all just kind of
moved
talked
on
and hung out for a little while. We all caught fish. I think we sat there for another hour.
Yeah.
A couple more bank guys filed in. Everybody's catching fish. It's just we caught a couple more before they got one, so they were a little butthurt. So.
And that a lot of times that's really what it is, isn't it true?
Yeah.
I mean,
really
let's
is.
be honest. A lot of times that's what it is really. But at the same time, when I see something like that, I was one of those lower guys. Well, shoot, next time might want to fish a little higher in the hole, or next time, do something different. Yeah. Let's see here. So, anyways, good.
One of the stories.
You're not affecting them. It's where people normally always fish. Yeah. What about a guy that gets into a run, and there's bankies down below, and he gets to the top of the hole, he's in a drift boat, he throws the plugs out, and runs them right through the hole, like right past everybody. Makes those guys wait while the guy runs the plugs through the hole.
Not cool.
Not cool, not cool. Because I see that question a lot.
I had a guy ask me a couple times when I was on the bank at one of our popular spots. He'd come down every morning about the same time. And
which one are you reading?
And he asked, and I told him he could.
Oh, scroll up. Is that what it was?
What? No.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. Scroll up though, Marlon. Go ahead. So he asked you what now?
He asked me, and I told him he could. It was a guide. He asked if he could run his plugs through there real quick, and I was totally cool with it.
No, good.
And he even caught a fish, and but he struck up communication with me.
Yeah.
I said, I need to put a new bait on whatever I was doing. Come on through. He fished through in 5 minutes, and I went back to fishing.
Not cool, not right. When you get your butt kicked from it, don't be mad, learn it. Yeah, 80-pound braid will fix all. Bounce lead off the drift boat. The drift boat we hit with weights. Not cool. It happened to me. I lost so much line, and my rod almost snapped. Good that my drag cut the line. How do you feel about a guy who bombs a hole with spinners twitching after an hour of people bomber fishing with no bites? Well, if you didn't have any bites for an hour,
if you're not having bites,
you might want to try something different too. I'm just
kidding. That happens so much. People are stuck on
oh yeah.
There was really something I wanted to talk about.
Bobber and
I had
egg
a story
fishing.
right on the tip of my tongue.
And somebody comes in with the twitching jig, and that's kind of what we just. And this is in the spring and in the fall.
Yeah.
Jigs are getting more and more popular, and some of the guys that are stuck in their ways from the past just hate guys that twitch. Yeah. That's what it comes down to. So as far as the twitching jig guy goes, are you impeding on what they're doing?
Mm-hmm.
If they're just upset because you're catching them, then you're not doing anything wrong, I don't think. If you're not impeding on their drift, but this narrative, this guy came in with this twitching jig and he was, I think a lot of it is just like people stuck.
Probably not knowing and stuck in their ways, yeah.
People stuck in their ways.
So,
all these comments about like doing shit to people's cars and shit like
yeah, that's okay. First, I was gonna say, first off, let's be honest, because none of it freaking happens because you guys are all tough guys on keyboards. So like, yeah, the whole like, oh, we're gonna punch him in the mouth. We're gonna do this. I mean, like, let's be real, guys. Like, that's not necessarily the way to go about it either.
None of us should be doing
Usually,
No.
if
Because
guys
honestly,
and people do that kind of stuff, and here's what I'm gonna say. Like, usually when guys do, and I'll say guides or guys do like kind of really like just dumb shit moves, right? They get blasted online, blasted in their reviews, like so most of the time, like people are just trying to get along, a little, for the most part. Like, let's be real. Like, I mean, that's not safe, and it's probably not, the best attitude. You never know when, you never know when someone's packing a little more than you.
yeah. Yeah.
So
Just
it's it's not that that kind of stuff isn't worth it. Everyone's got cameras on their vehicles now these days, and it just doesn't.
And full
it's
coverage,
good stuff. It's
full coverage. Will
right. Well,
actually
yeah.
cover
It's
a bunch of
good.
tires.
Yeah, it does. So it doesn't happen. But I mean, so what do you do? Let's say what do you do that? So guy, you and I, all three of us are just fishing on the bank. We're catching a fish in these tailouts. Fish are rolling in pretty good. Guy in a drift boat comes in, dumps plugs, and he's moving down towards us. Then what do?
Keep casting.
Where are we at?
Keep casting.
We're below.
We're on the bank. We're on the bank below.
I'm casting.
You're gonna keep casting even when he pulls his plugs into range.
If he continues to pull his plugs into range, that's where
I would just
if I'm
say
in a boat,
something.
that's where if I'm in a boat, I pull them, or I don't pull plugs in that hole because what you're doing with plugs is backing them down to the tail out, and if you see there's guys getting them in the tail out, maybe stay above them and try something different, but I wouldn't go impede.
And you
like
don't
we've
see
been
that.
saying, impede on their whatever they're doing. Yeah, do it above them. I mean, they're obviously if you see them catching fish, those fish got to swim upriver.
Yeah.
So, I mean, who's to say? I've watched boats do it to me this spring.
Yeah.
I was in the low end of the hole, and guy comes down pulling plugs, staying up there at the top of the run, and I mean, we're probably hooked 3 or 4 down at the bottom of the run. Smart guy, guide for years. I mean,
but he didn't impede on your action.
No,
he didn't
not at
run
all.
through the hole.
Not at all. No, he noticed what was going on because he had pushed down to the hole, and he'd noticed what was going on. And he goes, "Oh, pump the brakes. We'll freaking dump the plugs in here because they're getting them down there. Let's get the
fish usually swim upstream.
Right.
Sometimes.
Yeah. So if there's a bunch of bank anglers
Tyrus.
down,
Hit Tyrus's question there. That's good.
what's
Because
this
that's another thing we'll talk about real quick. Because
same dude's ball going past you.
we're touching on it. Keep going. Sorry, I don't want to finish your story. You finish your story.
Oh, I was just gonna say if I see guys in the tail out fishing, getting fish,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go impede on them by rolling my plugs through what they're fishing. I'll stay upriver because fish swim up.
So instead of pulling plugs through, what about bobber dogging through?
It's the same.
Because that I see
while the guys are
happen
fishing?
all the time. Yeah, like
While the guys are fishing.
while the guys are fishing in a river, and a lot of times they're floating beads or floating eggs, whatever, bobber fishing. Drift boat comes down and they're running the line, and they just run right by them or fish through them, maybe from the other side.
Depends on where you are. Depends on the river. Depends on the fishery. Because
And how many dudes are there? I mean, if there's
20, I don't know.
okay,
then
no.
at a
You
specific
just freaking
at a
go.
specific river that I fish, the boat guys and the bank anglers work together, and when a boat's coming through, the bank guys
Just
reel
pause
their,
for a split second.
yeah, because you're going by at the speed of the water.
Sure. So it's not pulling plugs where you're like now
Slowing
making those
down.
guys just sit there
No,
and watch you
it's
versus someone that's drifting through. That's okay.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
Ish.
Unless somebody, obviously, you have people that plunk, and then you have to work around those lines.
Yeah. Yeah, if they're plunking, that's a whole other story.
Yeah, we had that.
Well, we had to do that too. We were twitching jigs and casting plugs, and we'd get down to the area. And there was a couple of guys plunking, and we'd have to reel out. They were there first, I guess. Reel up, and they were impeding 5 boats doing it.
Yep.
And we just worked around. The second we cleared them, just started fishing again.
Yeah. That's
And said hi to them and good morning and whatever, and just went about our day. Like we were okay without that little bit of water.
Yeah.
People hate watching others catch fish when they aren't. Doesn't matter how considerate or how respectful you are. If you are catching them and they aren't, they will always have a problem with you. Man, fish jealousy.
Yeah.
I completely agree. And then if they catch a fish and you're not, then it's the other way around.
And
Then they're badass.
And we should be over the whole stigma of twitching is snagging. Like that.
Twitching is not snagging.
That's a thing of the past, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe
Thanks, John.
6 or 7 years ago.
Oh wait, I didn't see that. Can you scroll up, Marlon? Sorry. Yeah. We're on it, but what's the...
What is clicking over here?
Something in the wall.
Dude.
We're just reading all these great comments. What about the peeps from the other side of the river throwing stuff at your feet or where you're fishing on the bank? Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, kind of like... Because, I mean, I'll just say, like, on one of the really, really popular rivers, like steelheading, like, it's crazy. And guys will just, like, fish through guys, and everyone's just kind of... It's really busy. People see a lot of people. Everyone just kind of fishes through, and everyone kind of works together. But I know, like, on some other rivers, like, that wouldn't fly.
Yeah.
And and there's also something like, and this was like one of our stories we've said a few times, as far as like fishing through. One time Marlon and I, we go up on a little adventure and we go fish this river and real popular, busy, big fish, big wilds. And we're fishing it. And we go into the upper stretch, like above everybody, catch a few fish, having a great time, get down to where like a lot more people are at. And we'd be sitting there fishing like the middle of a hole, middle of a run, like anchored off to the side, and a drift boat would pull plugs like right through us or drift right over the top of us, right over where we were fishing. And like Marlon and Lonnie and I, we're like getting like beside ourselves. We're like, what? And I mean, and it was like, dude.
Like blatant.
After dude.
Like right behind
after
us.
Dude, like just no cares given. Like just over the top of, and then they would like,
but you were new to
hold
that
on.
system.
We were new to that system, but just there's a big punch to this, big punchline to this. Guys would like go to like where we were fishing, like where the hole was, and they would like get in their drift boat and like in our casting, like the guy would like flip out in front and just run it through the hole, like with us standing like, I mean, 20 feet away.
Mm.
And we're just like,
what's going on here?
Like this place is crazy. Like, well. And so we actually have a saying, I can't say it here, but it was a certain river. Well, the reality was like the conditions that day changed kind of everything. Because the conditions that day, you only had about a foot of visibility. And that river is very glacial. It's always glacial. And it's just kind of the way, like we were not the Romans in Rome. Like we didn't know what was going on, but everyone else kind of fished that way. Our perception was we were pissed. Like, what in the is this guy doing? Like, and getting all worked up. But we were the ones that are off because like the reality was the visibility was a foot.
Yeah.
And guys just kind of fished that way. And then once we kind of like
that's just how they did it on that river.
Right. And once we kind of like realized like, oh, like we're getting all worked up for nothing. Like that's just what we do. We had a saying and we said, well, it's squeaks. And that was our saying for like, yeah,
like,
and we didn't care.
Bobbers, like in between other people's bobbers and stuff.
Yeah, and it's like, and everybody just, nobody gave a crap. Everybody did. And guess what?
You know, okay,
we all caught fish.
System like that.
That's why.
Right, but I'm saying, but this is like lead into the story. Like, but we thought we were being like jilted, and we were 100% in the wrong.
Getting worked.
That's
over.
why
we were worked up. So.
That's why you have to know where you are.
Right. So I got another story, and this is my favorite story of all. So I'm at a very popular boat, and this is where I'm saying like you also have to understand that you are not correct, even though you think you are in some situations.
Right.
Favorite story. I'm at a very popular boat launch. Very popular. Very, 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 very popular. And one day I go in, and I park my boat on the dock, and I'm by myself. Clients are gone. I have to go get my trailer. Everybody comes in one way. It's a one-way road. Everyone comes in one way, backs the boat in. I back my boat in, and I walk down to the dock, and I get in my boat, and some guy starts like yelling something from up top, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? Is he yelling at me? Like, but I didn't hear him.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of like, huh. And then he pulls his truck in the wrong way. And then he like sits in the middle, like between the lanes. And I'm like confused as heck, but it's not that busy for that ramp at that part of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like normally there'd be 10, 15 boats, like trailers, like trying to get it, just craziness, right? But right at that time it was pretty tame. And I'm like, huh. So I like load my boat, hook my boat up. I pull up like next to the guy, I look at him. He's just staring at a steering wheel. I'm like, So I pull into the parking lot and I stop. Well, Powers was there. Mm-hmm. Powers goes, did you hear that guy yelling at you and all this stuff? And I'm like, yelling at me? What are you yelling at me for? Like, what? And I was confused. I could not figure it out. And so then I realized, I'm like, wait, that was that truck that went in the wrong way and then like backed in. But the way the road, the one-way road is positioned, like if you come in the correct way, you can't see a truck or trailer. You're not like even paying attention to that. Like that's completely screwed off busyness. You're not looking there because that's not how people queue up to load. Mm-hmm. So this guy then loads his boat and pulls up next to me in the parking lot, gets out of his truck. And I go, and I kind of lose it on him. I'm like, are you yelling at me? And the guy goes, I'm like, you're the expletive in the wrong. You know, like, so this guy was yelling at me like down below. I didn't really know it. So I start going off on the guy. I'm like, you know, I'm the nice guy, like in this situation, because you try to pull that shit during like when it's busy, like people are going to take your head off. Like the guy was 100% in the wrong because he was trying to go the wrong way in. And what happened was, and it kind of took me a minute to process it. What happened was he like got in his truck and then pulled in the wrong way, going this way, where I got in my truck and parked my boat. And then I went around, and so I didn't see him. But I guess he thought
he was in line.
He was in line, next in line, where he was not next in line, and he spouted off for it. So I had to let him know that, like, I was the nice guy, and if you tried to pull that crap during a very busy day, like, I am pretty sure people not as nice as me, because I'm the nice guy, would let you know otherwise, like that you are 100% in the wrong. But he sure thought for a minute there that he was in the right, and he was pissed because I jilted him. Right. And I had to correct that. Needless to say, the conversation ended with this, like, just don't. And he strapped his boat and left. And I kind of thought, I mean, we all laughed about it afterwards because like, this guy was like, I guess he was chewing me up pretty good.
Right,
but he thought he was right. It's like, dude, you are so wrong. Thank God this wasn't during like salmon season or something like that, because you would have got freaking rocked. Yeah, not good. But he sure thought he was right. Too. Oh, I was, yeah. Anyways, so just because you think you're right and you think you might know what's going on, it's always best to be just a tiny bit reserved and maybe pay attention a little bit and see, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, especially like when we were on that Steelhead River, we thought we were being jilted and things were, you know, and then reality is like, oh, wait, this is just kind of how it goes. Like, oh, this guy thought I was cutting him off because I was some guy. I guess he said, oh, damn guys cutting people. I'm like, no, it's like, I didn't cut you off. Like, I just went the correct way that the other 99.8% of the people are going to go. You didn't, and no one's looking for you. Like, and so he thought, you know, some guy jilted him and cut him. Like, no, that's not the reality. You're 100% in the wrong.
You were just wrong.
Kind of get my point on that whole long story?
Beautiful.
That was me, Cam. You went in backwards. No, I did not. Shut up. And that's not the boat that was in the picture either. No. So cool. Yeah. Good stuff. He was in line. That was, oh gosh, you guys are all funny. Go tell me what boat you had. Yeah, so either way, he was wrong 100%. We all had a good laugh, and hopefully the next time you went there, that he would go the right way, and he
got the program dialed.
Right, somebody won't take his face off because he jacked up and cut off 10 boats on accident. You know what I'm saying? Come on, guys. What boat? What boat were you
man.
in? Just tell me. Come on.
Etiquette, man.
Anyways.
I get smarter.
Yeah, it was. What boat were you in, Michael? Tell me what boat it was. And I'll believe you if you get it right. And then I'll still say you're wrong, and I have a couple. Okay, well, tell me both of them. You get 2 guesses. Ultimately, there will be 100,000 people out there fishing, so we need to go into each trip knowing you will have to practice common courtesy. Yeah. I mean, that always goes. I'm going to tow you away. Don't tow me away. Tell me the boat. Willie, no, wrong. Okay, what else we got? What else we need to talk about? We talked about guys low-holing. Bank hole.
Talked about dudes, encountering bank guys.
Yeah.
From boat.
North River. Wrong. Wasn't North River.
Oh, man.
Cat Fox is on cruise control.
I've had somebody deliberately cast their line on top of me repeatedly. That was not cool. Yeah, I've definitely been in spots where we're fishing a hole and someone comes down and tries to work you out of the hole.
Yep.
I mean, purposely tries to work you out of the hole.
And yeah, that happens, and it's just usually crappy people.
Yeah.
Right? Like whatever we do, you're gonna deal with jerks. So.
Let's talk about boats passing bankies.
Yeah, I saw that a few times.
Yeah.
That's a good diagram.
Yeah, so let's talk about that because I think there's two rules that kind of fall into that because nobody likes seeing little boats and little stuff on the river. This is gonna be some awesome sketching.
Dude, should we watch it live?
Yeah.
Watch what live?
Put that thing live.
Huh?
Put that thing live on there.
What?
You're drawing.
Side cam.
Oh shit! It's sketching. So, water's flowing that way. There's like a riffle here. Zach, you can keep calling me, bud, but I'm not answering. I'm a little busy. No. Banky's here.
He's making a stick figure.
Should I put him a little wading jacket, little waders and everything?
Who taught you how to freaking draw?
Shut the hell up. I'm just doing it. There we go. So it's all backwards to you guys, I guess.
It looks pretty good. You gotta draw upside down.
There we go. So, guys fishing on the bank, drift boat.
Third guy's getting cut off.
Coming down. Oh, he's fine. Drift boat. Coming down the river, right? Couple things when it comes to the guys in the drift boats, right? Current's flowing this way. Guys are fishing inside seam here on the bank, right? That's where they're casting. For the most part, in any situation, and I've done this to some bankies, and they get really like spun up, or not like spun up, but confused, I should say.
Yeah.
A lot of times, if these guys are casting out into the run and trying to fish here, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times we'll try to take our boats and try to like run the bank like along the anglers. Super close to them, like
as possible.
Really close to them. And I've had a couple guys like, they look at you like you are crazy.
Like you're
like what the hell are you doing? Like, and then I've also had guys think that you're crazy, whereas if you're a bank angler, right, and this is where I'm really getting at, because this is what I think is stupid. You'll have a guy waded out here, and if this boat's coming by, you have a choice. Do you want him to go through your water that you're fishing or drifting? Or do you want to have him go on the bank? Now, if you're standing there and there's no room to go in between the banky and the angler and the bank, which sometimes I will go behind people if they're wading there. If there's no room there, then he is going to go out in front of you.
Yeah.
If you don't want him to go into that area, you have to like take a step off the back. He's going to move through. You're going to move back.
Right.
Now, if you're far enough out to where he can squeeze in between you and the bank,
Definitely.
a little communication. Hey, I'm just going to go in behind you.
Yep.
You know, from the drift boater, just telling the bank angler that.
Yep.
Seems to really help. But sometimes guys like, I'll bring that raft or I'll bring that boat right next to them, and they just look like you're crazy. You're like, what the hell are you doing? Like, and kind of, I think some guys actually get kind of mad about it. Which is like, to me, it's kind of like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I don't know.
They don't understand.
I always think that is like the standard etiquette. People, people fishing on the bank, you always try and kind of go close to them, unless it's like blatantly wide enough to where you can completely stay off of their water, then stay away from them.
Where's the bank on the other side?
Oh, I mean, it's over here, and you couldn't, let's say the bank is, let's say it's kind of like a typical setup where the current's pulling into that bank, so the current's tight, and that's where they're fishing, the far side. So this would be like kind of the slacker water.
You always
was like twice that wide.
Right, yeah. If
exactly.
you're not, yeah. Good call.
That's why I'm like, I always,
the
if
river's
it's wide enough, obviously,
tight.
Stay as far away as you can.
They're
but
fishing
you're in tight to them.
Yeah, this is where the swirl, this is where it dumps in. This is a little riffle going into the hole. I think the only caveat to this is whenever you have to so there's also spots like, well, let's just say, there's a giant stump right here in the middle of the river, and then the boat has to go that way.
Yeah.
Like there are times where the boat's got to keep up for the safety
Right.
first.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I know one particular one where there's a big rock right there, and guys will fish there, and sometimes you have to go on the outside of that to where they can't, you can't do much about it.
And then if you're
Well, for the most part, you're going to try to,
if you're
or you should try to.
Yeah.
if you're the boat guy and you have to go over where they're fishing, like you have to float over their fish, what's the etiquette for how you get through that water? Like, is there a way that you should be handling your boat?
I mean, trying to be as quick about it as you can, and
or
trying to drift through as discreetly as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
quietly.
I would think that slower would be better, right? Like less oil.
Less power stroking through, just kind of rolling it through.
Yeah, because I've seen it in the summertime at a specific...
Running a sled. No, we're talking like rafts and drifting, Arden. Like
Raft drift boat.
Probably pretty rare situations where guys are going to run sleds behind people waiting out.
I always try and ask the dudes. Like if I know that there's people down here fishing, I always ask them. Even if it's 95% of the time you're gonna row right in front of them, just kind of like we were just showing. But I always just ask. I always try to ask.
Pick your boat up and go
Where do
around.
you want me? I always say, where do you want me? In tight or out far?
Now, what if you go down? And I'm just gonna say it. What if you go down, and there's a guy spay fishing in the run, and you ask him, and he doesn't tell you what to do?
Then I go right through the middle of the hole and make as much noise.
Situational.
very, very, very situational.
Very situational.
We go past this guy one time. He's like spay fishing. He's like wading out like this deep, and so we end up going behind the guy, and we're like, "Hey, where do you want us to go? What do you want us to do?" And the guy, like, you could tell he just didn't want to talk to us. So we go past him. I was like, "Have a nice day."
Just yell at him.
And the guy, you could tell he was just so mad that there was somebody else fishing that pristine body of water. No hatchery fish.
I got a pretty good story, I guess. Kind of. I don't know if it's really like etiquette wise, but it's just a good fishing story.
Okay, hold on real fast. Is it bad etiquette to drive to a local pond and post my grip and grin photos of river salmon on FishBrain just so I can watch people throw twitching jigs in a bass pond hoping for a coho? Yes. Yes. No, that's why like reporting in general is just bad. Yeah. We can talk a little bit about that too. I want to hear. I want.
Has tried to sponsor us.
Oh gosh, FishBrain. Yeah. Tell your story, Jason. Let's hear it.
Oh,
Really?
Okay, so I'm up fishing with my buddy, and I think I had my dad with me. I took my dad up north to fish with my buddy, and anyways, we get out on the river, and there's a couple boats out there, and we're on I wouldn't say super technical stretch of water, but technical stretch of water where not your average Joe is gonna go. But anyways, we get down there, and there's like 3 other boats, and this guy is like 3rd in line, and it's everything that this guy can do to get down to his boat. There's 3 other rafts at the launch. This guy comes in, launches his boat. We're all just kind of sitting there hanging out. We're not in any huge hurry, and this guy comes down, and he's not a local. My buddy's like, yeah, I've never seen that guy before. So we row down, we start fishing this hole, and he hangs up at like the top. And we row past him. Hey, howdy, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. And he goes, oh, a little bit of traffic out here today. We're like, sure.
Yeah, what are you doing here?
You're the traffic. Anyways, he passes us like probably 50 yards downriver. We're fishing a run where it's probably 200, 250 yards long. And we're going to fish the whole thing. And we're working our way down, and he gets about, like I said, 50 yards down below us, and he decides to go over the middle of the run, right where our bobbers are running, and tries to look and see if he can see any fish. My buddy goes, hey, you're rowing right over the fish, dude. What are you doing? He rows off. It's like, hey, sorry, man, sorry. Anyways, we get downriver. It's like halfway through the day. We didn't see him until that point. And we get down, and he had just got done fishing the hole, and he's rowing out, and he's like, yeah, I've been here for like an hour, man, can't seem to get anything to go. And we roll into the hole, and my dad's like, oh man, how harmonic would it be if one of our bobbers went down right now? Literally 5 seconds later, his bobber just drains, and this guy gets really mad that we just hooked the fish behind him. And I mean, it's just like, what do you do,
Take the lesson.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
He rode out with his head down and just looked back. I was like, man. I mean, he didn't really do it. Like I said, it's not really like an etiquette story or anything, but it's just like there's traffic out here today, and you're the traffic dude. I don't know. I guess that's kind of...
Yeah, everybody kind of gets out. Everybody wants the rivers themselves and stuff like that. It just doesn't happen.
No.
And we go to great lengths to,
get to those spots.
Great lengths, to try.
Mm-hmm.
I remember rowing this one little river that was super, very discreet. And a guy that I knew rowed the section above me and knew that it must have saw my truck or trailer or whatever, saw the river, and he texted me, how'd you do today? I'm like, I didn't really want to tell him, so I didn't. So I got a couple fish, whatever. And he's like, oh yeah, I don't know what you were doing. He's like, we went top to bottom. We got eight of them behind you. I was like, oh, cool, good to know. Cause
how many do you really hook?
Yeah. We left 8. Let's just say that we didn't leave much else. But the bottom line was, it was kind of like, I didn't know, if there was going to be, the water was super, super, super low and clear, and I wanted to know exactly how long would it take for those fish to reset.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I think
you got
the whole right, yeah. So it's just kind of a little bit oh, okay, well, good to know. So I don't know. I think you always got to kind of watch what you say or watch what you do, or if you see someone in a river that you don't really want them to be in.
Yeah. What about cleaning fish on the bank or at a boat launch, or that combo?
I think you need to do it, but be discreet about it.
What do you mean?
What's your take on cleaning fish on the bank? Okay, not or okay. Watch 2 old-timers almost fight last weekend over it. Well, I think, in the summertime, things are warm. You got to be you got to dispose the fish, I think, in moving water. Washington literally says, there's a sign on one of the rivers I fished today that says, please dispose of your fish carcasses in the river. The state of Washington, the state of Oregon spend hundreds of thousands of dollars transporting nutrients and stuff up to the river. So I don't think it's a bad thing, not to mention that in these rivers, 20,000 fish per trip are going to die and rot and be there anyways.
Yeah.
But I don't think what you do, I don't think you leave your guts and you leave your cark pile. They're just sitting right there on the bank where people are walking and stuff. I think you need to get it in
the water.
Get it in the water. Get in the river.
I can't stand that.
Yeah, just
So
be
taking
like,
dog
try
fish.
to at least be like, understand that even if I throw it in the water 5 feet off the bank, like that's still better than on the
Yeah.
bank.
I try to get as deep as I can.
Yeah.
I try to throw it out into the current or in.
Don't dump your fish in a swimming hole. I literally had a conversation about that today with a guy, or this year with a guy, and that's our swimming hole. We're like, you realize like that like back at he's gonna like trap like 20,000 dead salmon carcasses. The ones we had aren't gonna make a difference, but yeah.
Dogs, being able to grab them right from the.
Right, but dogs, and see, like that's the other part of it. You know, dogs, that's fine, but like I said, there's going to be 20,000 dead salmon along the riverbank. So, but you don't want to probably add to that. So, like, just at least get it in the water and get it away. Boat ramp carcasses irritate me. I think the wrong ones, like, you know, when guys are like,
It does a lot of people. It seems like.
yeah, I think you need to like dispose of them in moving water down the bank. It's good for the river. Like I said, the state spends hundreds of thousands of dollars a year putting carcasses and dumping carcasses back in the river. Put your fish head on someone's car antenna, only if it's Colts.
Yep.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Save some from crab bait. Well, that too. Yeah.
Throw it in moving.
Yeah, moving water.
Yeah.
Best
what about
bet.
someone asked? What about Drano?
Look at
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. So look at Jacob Munden's finger. Get the fish. Yeah. I kind of wondered if that's where that came from, Mike, because I know exactly what he's talking about. Like that is a place I don't rinse fish. The back slough on the back side of the ramp at Drano. Yeah, that place is. But that's what he's all. You seen Jacob's finger, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, terrible. Oof. Good thing you didn't lose it.
I didn't know what. I just saw pictures of it. I didn't know what happened.
Leave water and 3 feet more if you can. No big deal. Just chuck the guts. Yeah, take an extra 10 seconds and just do that. Yeah. All right. What else? We got weights in the fish. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
All right.
Oh, I actually watched that.
What else?
Finally saw that.
Oh yeah. What?
Yeah.
That thing's everywhere. It's even
I
on
know.
like national news stuff. All right, guys. Any more situations we want to discuss? Because I feel like we've kind of tackled a lot of the big stuff. You know, first come, first serve. You don't own the river.
We covered it.
Just because you think you're right, you might be wrong.
Yeah.
Have a little
Communication.
communication is key. Blowing up spots on social media.
When in
Do
Rome.
it. When in Rome, do as the Romans.
Know where you're at. Observe. Take a minute to see what's going on the river you're on. If you're new.
Oh, who goes first? Front boat at dock, first truck ready to load. The answer is the first truck ready to load. If they are in queue to put their trailer on the ramp and they're waiting for you to then go get in your truck and to come around, I don't care the dock order. You don't know if they've dropped a person off. You don't know if that boat is sitting there. But the bottom line is no one should be waiting. It's the same thing with launching. Nobody should be waiting nobody should be waiting or blocking the use of the boat ramp.
If it's
Ever.
not in use.
If it's not in use, there should be somebody on it, always moving on it.
Yes.
Yeah, so it is the truck. The truck is the line. Yep. The truck is the line. Don't want to touch. Yeah, that's a good point for loading too. Because some people think that just because you're on the dock and you're the first boat at the dock, but you might be 3 trailers deep. So what are they supposed to do? Like go back around or let that guy go first? I mean, oh
No.
goodness gracious, yeah. Yep, when in Rome is great.
What about shuttle services?
I'm curious.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's any. Is there an etiquette to shuttle services for drift boats? I don't know.
Are you giving these away?
Yeah, we're gonna give those away, but I want these ones.
There's another pack around here somewhere.
Sweet. Yeah, we got some stuff here. Any more situations, guys? So don't forget, good discussion, I guess. What do you think? You got any more cool stories? You haven't given us a good.
I've been trying to think of one.
They all just kind of run together, right?
Whenever you need to think of one, you can.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we could get into the whole like big boat trolling stuff, but
we're not in.
I mean,
I
we're
tried
not.
to-
Yeah,
we're
we're
not
not
in
going
that
to
time
get
yet. It's time to get on small boats.
being called a snagger if you don't fish with a bobber. Just show them what's up. Catch a fish. Or people need to learn to communicate. Yeah, that I do kind of agree.
There's a lot of people talking about like blowing up spots and stuff. So give people some advice on that type of stuff, because even though people love to say that we blow up spots, we make a lot of effort in the things that we do.
Well, so I think
and not even just talking about us, but just giving people advice.
Right.
We do, right? Like all of us in this room, if we're fishing somewhere that we know is like a good fishing spot, we typically, and it's going to be good for a while, we typically tend to not post pictures or try not
The
to
lean
do
bar.
reports or,
Yeah. Well, I mean, so yeah, I think the fish brain stuff like brought it up, and I mean, you know, you do you on that. I think, you know, we've always preached, you know, learn to fish, not learn to fish a spot, because you learn to fish, you can go anywhere, instead of learning to fish one spot, and then when someone's in said spot, you're screwed. You know, I don't care how crowded anything is. I can go fishing every day, and just like you guys can, and find fish and find productive water. So like I think that's kind of where like that fish brain thing comes from. And you know, whatever, if you partake in that and do that, but just realize like whether you see a report through fish brain or whether you see a report through a video that we put out or a video that someone else puts out or whatever, or anything that's been on the internet. I mean, everything from magazines to fishing and hunting news to like all of it. Mm-hmm. Just realize by the time that you get like reports like that, you know,
could be done.
They've moved on. Like it is pretty funny. I do kind of agree that there really isn't a lot of secret spots out there anymore. And if they are, and you see something in a video that doesn't explain the river name or the river thing, like how do you know it is unless you've been there or you've done it?
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
Right?
So,
Isn't that what we say?
Yeah.
If you
so
know, you
I mean,
know.
there's not much to that other than like don't be a guy that sits there and gets off the river 5 minutes later and you know posts pictures and then gets mad when he sees a bunch of people, because there's like everybody knows kind of like where everybody fishes, especially on the interweb stuff. Like,
right.
If you're gonna do that, just realize what you're doing. Mm-hmm. Like, and I'm just gonna say it, like, don't get all mad when there's 70 freaking people on the river when you guys are all posting freaking how to post full steelhead mid-December and get mad because people are there. Like, I don't want to hear it, because the glory shots will come.
Also not though.
So like,
where else
but just give me
wild steelhead?
But I'm just saying stuff like that. I'm just using it as a one example. Or when rivers are clearing, like I said, I'll say it as a guide. I go nothing screws up anything more than a desperate guide. Guy that goes out, gets a couple fish, posts them up that night, and says, "Hey, I got these today. Mm-hmm. Come tomorrow with me."
Right.
People know where you fish. People do. Like, they know exactly where you're at. It's not that, especially this day and age, because a lot of rivers are shut down. A lot of rivers are.
I can go through my phone right now and see screenshots that people have sent me of guys, or not even guys, just fishermen.
Yeah.
Screenshot.
Right.
This guy was smashing them on this river today.
And here's my take. And here's my take on that too. Like,
people use it.
If you want to do that, just don't post it that day.
Yeah.
Like during all my steelhead posting and stuff, like I wait till the rivers blow out and then I post them, because those fish are gone. Like, you know what I mean? So there's a little bit like just maybe there should be an etiquette to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
always wait. I'm not a day of or
any kind of reporting, no matter what it is, I think is more.
Yeah.
More brings out more guys than. Yeah, that's my take on it.
All about timing.
Timing's everything. Yep. Now that's big river Columbia stuff, like whatever. But as we get into that, people wanted to bring it up, so I brought it up.
Yeah, good point. All about the timing, though. I think I always try and kind of wait a little while.
In the boat, row to shore, or what? What's the etiquette for
talk about
taking?
wild fish etiquette.
Yeah, he said, what's the etiquette for taking pictures when you catch a wild fish in the boat, row to shore, or what? Like, I don't care who you are. Like, there's been many pictures that I have not taken because you can't get to shore, because everybody who's handled enough steelhead knows that, like, especially when you put steelhead or a fish that's to be released in, like, or coho without tails, no coddle peduncle.
Yeah.
They're tough to hold, and they're wild, and they should be very feisty. Like, holding them over in the middle of drift boats and stuff like that makes us cringe, because that's also something that I can tell you for a fact that the wild fish freaking ding-dongs, we'll just call them that, use against all of you. And where you can and can't do that, that could change. So, like, I just suggest don't do it. Pull over to the bank, get your picture, do your thing, prioritize the fish over the picture, and get your picture. Like, get your damn picture. Like, those fish are special. Mm-hmm. They're amazing. The mortality rate is way 1,000 times less than they said if you handle them right. Broodstock programs prove it. Argue with me all you want. You're wrong. But the whole, like, over the metal drift boat in the middle of the drift boat thing is really bad, and I can tell you that they are using it against you.
Definitely.
And the other thing.
I mean, you're just giving it to them on a silver platter that these fish are not being handled probably the way they should be.
Mm-hmm. The other one that kills me is guys from the bank. A lot of times it's plunking, whether it's sturgeon, chinook, steelhead. They got their picture with the wild fish or sturgeon that's for sure going back, and the whole side of the fish is sand.
Yeah, that's pretty rough on them too. Yeah, I mean that we're going to talk a lot about wild steelhead and fish to be released coming up here in the next few weeks. Like, we're going to be doing a lot of discussion on that.
There's a lot of people talking.
Pack it in, pack
it out.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of people talking about trash.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
Pack it in, pack it out. You want to ruin something? Invite the public. I mean, these public spots that we have, we're not gaining any of them, and we're losing them because of garbage, and we're losing them because of just stupid shit out there, you guys. And I'm gonna say that to everybody. I mean, really, that's what it is. Like, all that cool spot that you fish, that you trashed, like, it'll be closed because the state's not going to want to deal with it. County's not going to want to deal with it. The private landowner's not going to want to deal with it.
No, especially not the private landowner.
Right. You want to ruin something, invite the public, and a lot of it is just because of garbage. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, pack it in, pack it out. Don't be a ding-dong.
I don't even understand people
that do
leaving
that.
trash, right?
On the ground.
It's crazy.
It makes no sense to me.
Right.
At all.
You're literally out
somewhere. I mean, let's be honest. Like, I mean, I'm sure some of it, like, I've had, like, the sand shrimp container, like, in the boat, windy, stormy day, and all of a sudden you're looking like it's going. You have no idea where it's at.
Right.
But if it falls in the water, make the effort to go get it. I mean, like, so I think there's always a little bit of, like, a little bit of litter.
Right.
But
not 25 Bush Light cans.
Thank you. Exactly. But not like the 25 sand shrimp containers and the balls of line and a bunch of
and the
crap.
gas station bag that you got from this morning.
Oh, right.
God, that is the worst one. Little black bags. Come on. It's like, there you go. That's what you put your garbage in and carry it out with. Right?
That's crazy.
No, that's so true. You want to ruin it. It's the quickest way not to.
A lot of this etiquette stuff is like, just be a respectful adult.
Gloves.
Communicate. Mm-hmm. Like, it's crazy how far just being a decent
there is
person
no
on the
private
river.
land below the high water line in Troy that can be any more false, depending on where you're at. Certain rules, certain county, depending on where you're at, whether you're on, certain rivers, certain tidal rivers. That there is classifications of rivers that are different. Yep. Some of them own to the middle of the river. Some of them own to the high water line. Some of them it's tidal. There's different classifications in that, Troy.
What do they call it? Non-navigable.
Yeah, non-navigable, navigable, tidal, stuff like that. Yeah.
Common sense.
Common sense.
Anything else, guys? We need to pick a winner. Thank you guys for tuning in. Of course, always a fun discussion. I hope you guys enjoy the 2 inches of rain that we're going to get in the Northwest.
Oh boy.
Hell yeah, fellas. Great topic tonight. Bush Light is trash anyways. I agree, but don't leave it. Troy, I can tell you like that's a fact. Like a lot of the landowners and some of the rivers we drift they own the bottom of the middle where they can actually ask you to remove.
They love to tell you.
They can actually ask you if your anchor is actually on the bottom. They can actually tell you to remove your anchor
because it's
on their land, and they are right. They do own it. Doesn't mean you can't sit there and row over it for 20 minutes and do whatever you want. You're allowed passage, but there are classifications on rivers that are different. And maybe we'll probably talk a little bit about that because I was revisited that.
I was tell a story about that, but we're at the end.
No, I'm saying we need to revisit that stuff. So. No, it's all good, but yeah. Anyways,
cheers.
Where do we find information about private land and bank accessibility for Washington?
Onyx
apps.
Onyx
is a
100%.
Good start. Really good start. You can see exactly where stuff is, and that doesn't mean that that landowner doesn't allow open permission or has some people permission. Just because you see a person fishing a spot doesn't necessarily mean they're trespassing.
That's another thing too is you can use with that Onyx app is it'll tell you who owns the land, and I mean if you're really that curious you can look them up and write them.
I wish we had Onyx back in the day of hunting. Oh man, it's off now. I don't think we can give these away, can we? These are not pulled from inventory.
Don't give the swing blows away.
I've got.
Yeah, you can give these away. Yeah. I know a guy that could use those.
Yeah. Onyx is great. Use the hunting and fishing. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, since people are winding down, it is 8:30.
It is 8:30.
Holy crap. Onyx is great even for fighting fires. Yeah. Always has the road and trails. That's right, Max. Onyx is bad. Onyx sponsor me. What the hell, bro? We'll get into the fishermen. I've got 25 of these strawberry spin and glows, and these, as you know, are one of Marlon's favorites.
Some good ones.
Yeah, we'll give those away once Marlon picks a random winner because I don't feel like making you guys do anything tonight. But I hope you guys have a good week on the river. I think finally we're gonna get some high water stuff going on Friday.
High water. High water.
Yeah, high water for a half a day, and it'll be perfect. Yeah, Ray Paul says, thanks, guys. Well, Ray Paul, thank you for tuning in and commenting. You won the 25-pack of the 𝗪𝗛𝗄 8 spinning glows. I need you to email orders at 𝗪𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and we'll get that. Can't wait for the steelhead live feeds. You know they're coming.
Yeah.
We need an addicted subscription box. Well, you kind of have one. Basically, whenever you want to get some stuff, you can just go onto our website, addicted.fishing, and check out for the drop. Kevin Heiser gives us a $50 super chat. Says, good show tonight, guys. Appreciate it, Kevin. Thank you for the super chat. We will actually maybe keep Clint around a little bit. But did you guys notice how we didn't have anything wrong with the production value tonight?
That was very.
I think tonight was flawless.
Very high quality.
There was nothing. Annie, you have a great night too. I think we didn't have any technical issues tonight.
Oh, it all went pretty good.
It all went very well.
We had to wait on the side cam a couple times, but I mean, hey.
Yeah, there was a couple
first. I mean,
stoner moments, but other than that.
Yeah, except for reminding you that you were running the side cam. Other than that, it was but it worked. Yeah. He just needed to get going there. All right, guys. Good night, and we will see you on the river.
Cheers.
See you next time.
Later.